But, Victory, I could tell you a few things. You know, I don't get in town very often, and I tell you, this was something coming up here to be here today. Yes, I tell you what, I'm Baptist, and we believe once saved, always saved. But I got saved 3 times on that Will Rogers Turnpike just getting here today. So, you know, it's kind of different to be up here in the city where there's lots going on and stuff like that.
And it's something I'm familiar with, you know.
Well, yeah, you're kind of big city girl and everything, but not me. I live out there, you know, just out there on the farm, and all the Dud family. In fact, I thought I might say hi to the Duds. You know, they're all tuned in.
Sure.
My whole Dud clan. Hey, all and everything, because I come from a long line of Duds. I don't know about you, but my whole family gets together. It's just Duds everywhere and everything. They wanted to come with me today,
really?
some of them, but we couldn't all fit in a truck and that stuff, so it's just as well. So,
oh, wow. Well,
yeah.
I like your hat.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I had to lose a good aunt to get it, but I got it now and everything. So, you know, I got my new stuff on today and wanted to look good and everything for you today. Gosh, I feel like a mosquito in a nudist colony. I don't know where to start. What are you going to ask me?
Well, you know, I noticed those spurs that you have on you. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I don't think they let us wear those spurs around here, but, you know, I guess it's okay.
Well, you know, being from Oklahoma and everything, you know, you've got to be ready for everything. And that's me, Willamae. I'm ready. In fact, they have named a fire truck after me up there where I come from, over there at Grand Lake. They named it the Willamae because it's always ready but seldom called for. That's the truth right there.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Is that a bird's feather or something that's on your hat?
Well, it's a peacock. Yeah,
okay.
I got a peacock because I thought it looked nice and stuff like that. I go all out, you know. I knowed I was coming up here, and you've had this nice show and everything for everybody. And I want to tell you thank you for having this show, because I think this is just dandy that you have, you know, making it happen. That's nice. That really is, you know. And plus, I heard it was going to be a good chance to meet men, that you have a lot of single available men tuned in. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Well, that's good, because I'm single and available.
Really?
I sent my picture and everything into one of them Lonely Hearts clubs. They sent it back. They said, we ain't that lonely. But I was, you know, thinking maybe I'd have a chance kind of, you know, to introduce myself, Willamae, you know, and that kind of stuff right out there to TV land and stuff like that, you know, because, you know, I don't know why. I know you're surprised that I'm single and available, because I like the simple things in life. I like men. And I've been asked to get married hundreds of times.
Oh, really?
Just hundreds of times, yeah. My mom and dad won't stop asking me to get married, but, you know, I just haven't found the right fit. Now, I met your nice, pretty husband, too. That seems like that's a
Well, you
good fit.
can't have him, though,
Well,
Willamae.
I wouldn't want him, you know. And everything, because, you know, my Uncle Elmer has already given me some advice. I could pass that on to our listening audience. Would that be all right?
Sure.
Because my Uncle Elmer and Aunt Faye, they've been married like 50 years. And he's the one that said it. He said, Willamae, if you find you a fella and you string him along long enough to see if he's fit to be tied, and then you marry him, never go to bed mad. That's what he said.
Okay.
How about that right there? Write that down.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, Uncle Elmer, now 50 years, have you ever gone to bed mad? He said, not once, not in 50 years. But there was that one stretch that was up for 3.5 weeks. But I've taken that to heart right there, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, okay, yeah, all right. Hey, what these,
Is this mine?
Yes, it's yours.
Thank you.
It's fresh water, no one else's drink out of it.
That's nice. It's real pretty.
I like your, oh, well.
Well, you said it was mine, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but okay. I like your freckles, though.
Thank
you know,
they're sun kisses. People that work outside know about getting sun kissed and everything, getting freckled up and stuff like that. You know, folks that don't have them really don't know much probably about work is what that is. You know, stuff. But we have the big farm up there, Uncle Elmer and everything. You know, like that. So I spend a lot of time out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're just a, you know, really interesting, you know,
well,
I don't know, it kind of throws me just a little bit, Willamae, because I'm just not used to country people. But
well, it's all right, you know, I could teach you a lot of things if you want me to. I could, you know, I could take you up to the farm and show you around and stuff like that, Uncle Elmer and Aunt Faye and stuff like that. They would have come today, but they ain't speaking. They're still a little upset with each other and everything.
Oh, really?
Well, it was their anniversary gift and that kind of thing. You know, Uncle Elmer can't think of nothing. She was hinting big time what she wanted for her anniversary and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
She was, you know, wanting something. So anyways, he decided he wasn't going to get her anything. And she said, well, I'm going to get you nothing neither because you didn't use what I got you for Christmas last year. That's what she said. And he said, I did too. I loved it. And she said, no, you did not. You didn't use it once. He said, I did too. I loved it. It was my favorite gift. She knowed he didn't even remember what it was. And finally he had to come clean, and Uncle Elmer, you know, said, okay, I don't even remember what you got me for Christmas. Tell me. And she said, a cemetery plot. So they aren't speaking right now. Or they'd have come up here. But you can come up and visit us sometime.
You know, I'd love to. I've been down to Grove before. Is it up at Grove?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's Grand Lake of the Cherokees. You know, we get a lot of tourists in there. You know, there's lots to see and do up there.
Well, have you ever been on that boat out there?
Oh, the Cherokee Queen, yeah. Been on it lots of times.
Really?
It's something. Yeah, there's beautiful in there. Lindenwood Gardens, there's fancy gardens out there. And Daryl Starbird's Hot Rod Museum.
Oh, wow.
But the place to go is, if you're ever up there, is the Cayuga Mission Church. It's a 120-year-old little old church, and every Sunday they ring that bell, and the folks come in and just come as you are.
Really?
It's just beautiful.
So do you
love
come
that,
in?
Victor. You ought to come up there sometime.
Do you go as you are too?
Well, yeah. In fact, Willamae I get to share the word every now and then up there at that church, and that's what's really nice and stuff.
So you're saying share the word? Do you mean like the Bible, or are you talking about something else
I ain't
that you're
selling Amway. Yeah, it's a Sunday morning service and everything like that. Yeah, so it's my turn, and we take turns. And see, that's what's nice about that little church is we have a different preacher every week. So if you don't like this and this Sunday, come back the next week. It'll be somebody different.
Wow.
Now, how about that?
Wow. Well, I'd like to have them invite me someday.
Well, I will.
I'd like to
write your name down.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, that'd be great.
That'd be a good deal.
Well, now, where do you live? Out in the country in Grove, or do you, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I live, is in the country.
Oh, okay.
In Grove.
Do you have chickens or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, we got worlds of chickens out there. It's something. We got chickens, we got hogs, we got cows, we got horses. I could show them all to you and everything, you know. That'd be really
That
nice.
would be a new experience for me,
Well,
really.
sure. We can let you wring a neck if you want to.
Wring a neck?
Yeah, chicken's neck.
A chicken's neck.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought you was
well, why would you
Christian.
do
would
that?
Eat fried chicken if you come up, you know. I
Well,
thought
yeah.
every Christian ate fried chicken. Am I wrong on that?
No, I eat fried chicken.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just didn't
that'd
know
be
about the ring in the neck part.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh,
right
wow.
there. It's exciting, isn't it? All the things we have
I
to think
can't
about,
hardly
you know.
wait.
You know, and that's kind of the fun thing about being a Christian. It don't matter, you know, the different kinds you are, because there is a lot, you know, just like people tuned in on this TV program.
Right.
There's a lots of different kinds. But, you know what I say, Victory? Them's just all labels we wear on this old earth. Just, you know, and they're either going to fly off or burn off one or the other someday.
That's
Ain't
right.
that right.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, what kind of label do you put on yourself?
Well,
or?
you know, I get invited into a lot of different churches to visit with
really?
them, and I like that because I don't wear no big label. You know, it's all about the big ending. You know, it's all about being a Christian and believing. I think is what I think.
Right.
So that's what's nice about it. I don't have to wear a label.
Well, when you go into churches, I mean, are they letting you preach the word there? Or?
You know, you seem like you're kind of took back on that there, Victory. Does that surprise you that they would let me share and
well,
stuff?
I'm sorry. Like I said, it's just a little bit different for me.
Well,
I'm just...
Yeah, I get to, and it pretty much gets them their attention and stuff. Because I've had a chance, you know, because I think it's fun to be able to laugh and stuff like that, and a lot of people don't do that as much as they need to, especially in church.
Well, you know, I'm enjoying this so much, but could we take a quick commercial break, and then when we get back, I know there's a ton of things I'd like to ask you. And
well, yeah.
Would y'all stay tuned? We'll be right back. Welcome back. And we have here with us Willamae from Grove, Oklahoma. Thank you again for coming, Willamae. I'm enjoying that. You know, like I said, you're a little bit different, but I'm enjoying talking with you.
Well, you know, I could be here more often till you got used to me if you wanted
well,
me to.
we might be able to do that.
You know, we was talking about different churches and stuff like that, you know, and maybe them folks didn't get to hear that part and stuff like that. But, you know, have you been in different churches and they do things different like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. That's the way it is at our church sometimes. In fact, we have a church that's so small, we have a hard time keeping preachers, you know, just like that. They change up a lot. We had one of them traveling preachers come through. You know what I'm talking about?
traveling evangelist?
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
And you know what he done? He called on my cousin, little Shorty, and said, listen, if you'll be here every night of this revival, I'll pay you. Now, how about that? Getting paid to come to church. Yeah. He said, I got a job for you. All you got to do is climb up there and sit on that rafter. There was a beam went across the top of that church. He said, just sit up there, and I've got this cardboard box. And he said, I'm going to get to the end of my service, and you'll know it. And when you see my hands go up, open that box. And I mean, little Shorty did just that, Victory. He got right there and straddle-legged on that beam up there. And that preacher, he preached him a big old service, got to the end of that sermon, stuck his hands up in the air and said, Lord, send down the Holy Spirit. And I mean, just like that, little Shorty pulled back the lid on that pasteboard box, and a pair of white dove come flying out of there. Flowed in a big old circle in that church. It was beautiful. I wished you could have been there to see it.
I know.
And the second night was the same thing. It was really good. He preached up a big old sermon, got his hands up in there. Lord, send down the Holy Spirit. And I mean, just like that, Shorty pulled back that box lid, and them birds floated out of there and flew around in a circle. And I mean, people was moved. Metamucil wouldn't have moved people the way they was that night.
Oh, well, I can see it really affects you.
Oh, yeah, it was. And the third night, now, word had got out. Word had got out, and I mean, it was a packed-out house that night. You'd had to butter a body to get another one in the pew.
Oh, well.
And I mean, you know how preachers are when they have a packed-out house. They just get carried away. And he did. He preached and preached and preached. Got to the end and said, Lord, send down the Holy Spirit. And nothing happened.
Oh, no.
And he didn't think he got heard good, so he come out from around that pulpit and said, Lord, send down the Holy Spirit. And still nothing. And he walked down there a little further, and he was saying, Lord, send down the Holy Spirit. And about that time, we all heard little Shorty's voice come down from the rafters. A big yeller cat done ate the Holy Spirit. Y'all may throw down the big yeller cat. So that's what I was just saying. You know, you can get under conviction with a little bit of anything. You just never know what the Lord is going to use to get people under conviction. That's what I was saying, Victory.
Oh, well, now I can see that the Lord probably really uses you a lot in Grove.
Well, yeah, and I get out. I get out.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is it just Grove?
Oh, heck no. I've been lots of places and everything. I've been real lucky to go out, you know, and just, you know, whoever wants to call me up, I'll show up, and we'll just have us a big time in their church service.
So what would be one of the most, I don't know, unique places that you've been, Willamae? I mean, you know, would anybody invite you? I mean, just anybody invite you, or?
Well, you're acting kind of surprised again that anybody to have me in.
I'm sorry.
I've been real lucky. I've been into all kinds of things. I've been, you know, I've been able to speak in the morning services of all kinds of churches, and I've been there for women's groups. I've been there for men's prayer breakfast, and they mostly prayed I wouldn't come back. And I've been there for a lot of different things, and that's what's really got me good, because, you know, I've had a chance to do that. Because, you know, it's all about just planting seeds, because we all do it a little bit different, you know, just as long as we're planting. You know, it's kind of like, you know, at my Granny Dud's house, she is so into everything having just right that she even plans out who's going to bless the food before we eat. And this last Sunday, she asked my Uncle Elmer to say the blessing, and he'd been studying prayer in Sunday school. He said, I'll do it. He said, we'll all stand up and lift our hands up just like this. And my cousin Bud that's married to my cousin Rose and Bud Dudd, Bud said, no, I'll do the blessing, because we've been praying too in our Sunday school class, and we'll all get down out of our chairs and lower our face, because that's what it says in the Bible, is you're supposed to put your, you know, humble yourself before the Lord. Elmer said, we will not. We will stand up with our hands straight. Bud said, we will not. We're going to get out and get down low like these. And I mean, they went back and forth right there at the dinner table like they got into a cat fight right there at Granny Dud's. And finally, I had to jump in the middle of them and say, hey, I don't know a thing about praying, but some of the finest praying I ever did, I was hanging upside down in a well. So, you know, people do it different ways. It's just all, you know.
You were hanging upside down in a well?
Yeah, not for long.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's what I'm telling you and everything. it's nice to go to different churches and see how they do different things because, you know, worship comes in different sizes.
Wow.
Yeah, I went with my cousin up there to this big church, and they all come in there wearing them robes. Scared me to death. I thought they was all going to preach victory. But they didn't, you know, and they had all these things, and I was happening to ask her to explain things and stuff, you know, and she would say, oh, this means that, and that means that, and that means that. And then she'd come with me to my church, and that preacher got up there and took off his wristwatch and laid it on the pulpit. And she said, what does that mean? I said, trust me, it don't mean a darn thing.